Hello and welcome to Bottle Openers by Vintage Wine and Port. Each week we open a bottle from our cellars so you know what to expect if you ordered these wines yourselves. This week we're looking at this lovely collection of Burmester wines. These are all Portuguese wines and we have a variety here including white, red and Touriga Nacional. And here to explain them all and talk me through them is the wonderful Dia. Hello Dia.
Hello, Andrew.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And you?
I'm very good, thank you. Yeah, excited for this new series of wine exploration.
Same. Because, most people associate us with port or sherry or, this fortified category. But we are importers of many brands, and especially from Portugal. And Burmester, apart from port, do very good dry wines, still wines.
Yes, it's very exciting. I think as well a lot of people overlook perhaps Portugal as a wine category and maybe only associate it with the port. So it's exciting to open up that door to you at home. We are, of course, fortified specialists. You can see our certificate behind us, our Decanter Award for that category. But we are exclusive importers of Burmester, and that includes all of these dry wines in front of me. So which one did you want to start with?
We'll definitely start with the white so that the reds don't cover the delicate aromas.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we have here is a white wine from the Douro. Okay, Douro Valley, famous for fortified wines. But now in the past few years, the Douro Valley has become a pioneer of how still wines can come out of the fortified, separate to the fortified category and create amazing wines, beautiful grape growing there. Obviously, it's a stunning region that you are aware of, and I think you're doing some very special videos soon about the region. But anyway, so what we're trying here is local indigenous grape varieties from the Douro. These are Gouveio, Rabicado, Viosinho. I know it's hard to pronounce. However, they're quite unique. They're only grown in the Douro, and you have in your glass something really special that you'll never have the chance to try again, and you rarely find in the UK. Although Portuguese dry wines are making a comeback. So shall we try a bit?
Yes, let's get into it.
Right, let's sniff first. I find in the nose more of pineapple, like tropical fruits. Yeah, do you smell a little bit of fresh pineapple?
It's very, very fruity.
Yes, definitely. But also, obviously, some apricot, more of the ripe side. Yeah,
it's very exciting. The aroma alone is getting me quite intrigued for this Burmester white.
There you are, and if we try it. I find the aromas are quite intense. They're very easily distinguished. Yes, you can still, but on the palate you get more of a lemon, a little bit of lime peel. The profile changes completely on the palate, so that gives you a breadth of aromas and flavors, which is always a very positive thing on wine.
Yeah, it's amazing. I was genuinely quite surprised because it's very sort of fruity and bright on the nose, and then the flavors, as you say, a little bit more lemony and citrusy, and it's lovely. It's interesting how it kind of changes from the nose to the palate.
Absolutely, and as the flavour goes on, it kind of lingers. It doesn't diminish immediately. You have these flavours lingering. It has very good acidity, which is balancing really well against the fruit concentrations, because we have like a lot of fruit there. And I actually think it's a wonderful wine to have every day, but also on a special occasion as well. Normally, obviously, we would serve these sort of wines on sort of more cool temperature, let's say about 10 to 12 degrees. And if you want to try them, with food, it goes really well on its own. So as you see, it can be a perfect summer drink, on a very sunny afternoon in your garden. But if you want to try it, with food, it obviously goes with a general white wine, white meats, but also salads, some cheeses, soft cheeses, perhaps goat cheese.
Making me quite hungry now.
I know.
It's a love. I can imagine it being perfect as a sort of summer wine. We are getting into the warmer months now as we're recording this, so makes me quite excited. I'll probably have to pick up a bottle for myself.
Yeah, and don't forget, obviously, it's a Portuguese wine, and in Portugal they have lovely fish. So I would definitely pair it with some grilled fish as well. Personally, this one has a little bit of smokiness as well. As we try it, I found us also. I give it a little sip. Because in the winemaking, it has been aged a little bit in a mixture of new and old oak. You can find a hint, but it's not offensive, So it can really, it's a little bit oilier, so you can go with more oily fish or grilled fish or something that's a little bit more summery and light.
Brilliant. It's quite a flexible wine then. It really does go with a lot of things. And as you say, brilliant on its own. A wonderful wine to explore, especially if you're a fan of white. Maybe explore a Portuguese white, and especially here from Burmester. Should we move on to the red?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is a 2020 Burmester red wine.
Red wine. So grape varieties for this, as the red grape varieties of the Douro. Obviously, as we know, Douro has a lot of old vines. Yes, obviously. It's one of the few areas that sometimes grapes or vines stretch up to 50, 60, 80, 100 plus years old. This has grape varieties such as Touriga Franca, Touriga Nacional, Tinta Barocca, these sort of local, again, grape varieties. It has been aged a little bit in oak. It's 12 months in new oak, but also a little bit American oak. So American oak normally gives more of a vanilla aroma to it. So I'm not sure if you're getting a little bit of that on there.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting something like that. Now, it's the thing. I don't know if you've gathered already, but the dynamic here is that Dia is definitely the wine expert. And as much as I've picked up a few things being here at Vintage Wine Import, I pale in comparison to Dia's expertise. In fact, you've got a Dip W set. So one of the leading experts of wine across the world with that sort of qualification. And yeah, as you say these things, it really brings to life. If you get a bottle of this, go back to this video and taste along and smell along with us. You really kind of smell those things, and they'll pop out as soon as Dia says them. You might not have the I certainly don't have the vocabulary or the expertise to describe it, but as soon as Dia says it, you can smell it straight away. I'm
very glad you feel this way. That means what we're trying to do here is just give a few taste and aroma descriptors for people to understand what this is all about. I'm glad, when someone points it out, obviously you pick this up, and hopefully people will do as well, from our videos here. So let's have another sniff. Like, we're now trying to look some fruit in this wine. Let's have a little look. So I find more riper dark fruit, like black cherry, but it's like quite ripe. And as we said, you get this vanilla pod, I get quite a lot of the vanilla pod, and that shows that the time the wine has spent in oak, obviously, and the flavours it imparts into the wine. So if we taste it, again, you get, wow. On the taste is actually the flavors are quite explosive. You know what I mean? And you're right, it's actually more fresh on the taste than I thought on the nose. So I find the fruit here is unripe, but not in a negative way, ripe but not fully ripe, it gets into again, I get a lot of these sort of small red berried fruit, cherries, some cranberries, a little bit of strawberry hints, Absolutely. I do find the vanilla is not that obvious here on the taste, but that's okay because the aroma and the flavor makes a whole nice, complexity together, And the finish is lingering, so I would have thought. But as a wine, I would say it's a fresher wine to be enjoyed, over a barbecue in the next 5 to 6 years, over a barbecue, or with some red meat, or perhaps this sort of cheddar cheese would go really well with it, I think. All red wines, cheddar goes with everything, but yeah.
We definitely should have recorded this after lunch, because I'm now just really looking forward to lunch.
And I think next time we should have little plates of food and try food and wine pairing.
Yes, yeah. We're really expanding the budget for this series. I think actually we should have a whole meal with the series.
But yeah, absolutely. Another wine, your everyday, fabulous to have if you're a red wine lover. It's good for the heart. It's excellent taste, great fruit concentration, really good quality.
Yeah, really nice. I really enjoyed that one. And then something, perhaps if people don't know much about Portuguese wine, can you talk us through this one? This is a 2018 Touriga Nacional. So what is Touriga Nacional and what does that mean for the wine?
Well, so this is a single varietal, where previous the Reserva we tried was a blend of 3 or 4 different red varieties of the Douro. Touriga Nacional is the leading grape variety that goes into blends to create other wines. But in this, here in this wine, our third final wine, it is 100% single variety Touriga Nacional. Touriga Nacional is, as I said, the leading variety of the Douro. It is the most biggest component in when we make a port or a fortified wine, and it's actually as a local indigenous grape variety. It's quite unique. It's quite tannic. It's long lived. It makes wines that can age for decades because it has this sort of high acidity, huge concentration of flavors, but also the tannic support and the structure to keep wines going for a long time. Shall we sniff?
Yes.
See, it's quite dark, the Touriga Nacional.
Yes.
Do you know that Touriga Nacional is quite expressive of the Douro terroir as a grape variety?
It definitely smells much earthier than the Reserva.
Definitely, absolutely. Yes, well done. It does. It is earthy. It has these chocolate notes. It still has this sort of concentrated fruit. I would say again, black cherry, blackberries, even, but also chocolate, but also some floral.
Just as you said chocolate, I got the chocolate. It was quite nice.
Excellent.
Some floral stuff.
Floral, yes. I get, rose petals or some. Sometimes it's not easy to identify all the floral aromas, but you get hints of violet, rock rose, which is a lovely plant of the Douro, grows up in the high altitude. And I find it has some minerality there. Douro is shaped by its soil, and the soils in the Douro is schist soil. Schist soil is like plaques, and the grapes, when the roots of the grapes go into the soil, they just go in between the vertical plaques, and they manage to go so deep. And sometimes, it's my personal opinion, obviously, I get this sort of mineral, it's just licking a wet stone, you know what I mean? If you try it. So this wine is quite concentrated. This, I would say, is the premium style of the Burmester still wine range. I'm actually still salivating, tasting it. It's
really
mouth-watering. You know what I mean? And that's what comes back to the concentration we said earlier. It has the high acidity, the tannins that stick into your gums. Yes, which is always a good quality for wines that age longer. Okay, and obviously a very long finish here.
It's still going for me. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we would put this as an outstanding wine. I can easily see this aging for 10, 15 years plus. So if you do ever buy the range of the Burmester still wines, you can always have this every day with your lovely, or at a party gathering, that's have this everyday red, and then if you move to your Touriga Nacional, you can have it at a very special occasion, perhaps Easter coming up, you never know, or perhaps keep it in your cellar, store it vertically for a few more years to see how it can develop in the future.
Fantastic, yeah. So there's quite a range of uses here for these wines. Lots of everyday stuff, party stuff, something special like this Touriga. We've currently got it on sale as a whole pack, which is very good value, but all these wines are also available individually, exclusively in the UK through Vintage Wine and Port. So go check them out. Get the pack if you want to explore this whole thing. Do taste along and smell along with us. You don't have to be a wine expert to start getting into these sort of things. I certainly am no expert, but I've learned a lot here at Vintage Wine and Port just from tasting, just via Dear's talking me through these tastings. You do start to train your nose, and it becomes quite an exciting part of the wine tasting process. So and these are very entry level prices and sort of entry level wines for Portuguese wines. So it's an affordable kind of option to start getting into Portuguese wines, start maybe refining your palate and finding out what you like when it comes to your wine options. So a fantastic pack option, available individually if one sounded better than the others, and as you said, to store this, you put it away kind of vertically for about 10-15 years.
Yes.
Or you can obviously have it now. It's approachable at this age, but it will continue to grow and develop if you leave it. And how would you store the white and the red?
Equally, the white I will store on its side. Obviously, because these have a full cork in them, so if you want to keep it a little bit longer, you can. It's not, you can keep the wine for up to 5 years. And I believe sometimes that white wines are considered obviously to drink sooner, but sometimes wines like this that have aged a little bit in wood perhaps can stretch a little bit longer. Lay it on its side, but enjoy it at a cooler 10 to 12 temperatures for the white. For the Burmester Reserve blend, which is this one here, again, lay on its side, definitely. Perhaps more a younger drinking bottle here. You can enjoy within the next 5 to 7 years. And we go to obviously the Touriga Nacional that you mentioned earlier, obviously store on its side. Both of these wines can be, the red wines, enjoyed at about 17, 18 degrees, like room temperature would say. But obviously if you try it in the summer, chill it slightly. Yeah. And they go with red meats, griddled meats. Just keep in mind that for our third wine here, the Touriga Nacional, you might, after a few years, need to decant this because I think it has been lightly filtered or unfiltered, because the winemaker had in mind to keep it for a few years. So that might throw a deposit that will need decanting eventually.
Fantastic. So there you go. Everything you need to know about our Burmester Wine Explorer Pack for our Portuguese White, Red and Touriga Nacional. This has been Bottle Openers. Thank you so much for joining me, dear.
Thank you.
Please subscribe, like, comment. We'll be doing lots of these types of videos, so make sure you keep an eye out for future endeavours and explorations into the Vintage Wine and Port cellars. Thank you.
Thank you.